Alright, hopefully we should be streaming. Now is the time that I take to check and see that we are, in fact, streaming. Your channel doesn't show me as live. Oh, no, there we go. Never mind. Okay, I guess we are live.
I'm very smart about this.
Alright, well, welcome to the Social Otaku. We are finally back with this. This was actually my first podcast, so if you are coming onto the Social Otaku for the first time, since it has been a while, just a reminder, the Social Otaku is my more serious podcast where we go over any kind of charisma coaching that I would want to do just in a podcast format. We'll talk about things like mental health and like today's topic on number 10, The Return. We're going to be talking about, seeing as we're all quarantined, online dating. And with me here is my lovely girlfriend, Sierra.
Hello.
So thank you so much for joining me, Sierra. She will be on for more podcasts as we will be getting this back up and running every week, along with World War Weeb every week once I get back home and to my normal computer. If you can't tell by the audio, this is actually Sierra's computer.
Yes, I'm a beginner, so bear with us.
All right, so was there anything else I was going to mention? Oh, did you want to share the social media they can follow you on?
Yeah, so I have a lot of social media. Same name but different kind of concept. We can put the link in the description.
Yeah, I will put that in after this gets processed by YouTube.
Yeah, if anyone wants to follow me on YouTube, it's What Sierra Streams. I'm on there maybe once a week. I'll stream once a week. I'm just streaming on my PlayStation 4. If anyone wants my gamer tag, just put it in the chat or message me privately. Oh, we should tell them about the Facebook group.
Yes, I put an announcement in my Discord, which, of course, as usual, links to the Discord are down below. But I started up a Facebook group, and Sierra is also an admin on that, as well as my friend Elliot, who was my previous host or co-host for the Social Otaku. So both of them are on our Facebook group, the Social Otaku. So you can join either community or both if you want.
Yes, and if you ever want to reach out to any of us on the Facebook group, you're more than welcome. And anyone that wants to add me on my personal Facebook, you can feel free to do that as well. I won't bite, I swear.
Okay, so since we are all, of course, quarantined at this point, and no one can go outside, and everyone is forced to be basically a nerd now, because everyone's forced at home, they got nothing but their computers, so we're all nerds.
We're all playing, Animal Crossing. I know there's a lot of people out there playing Animal Crossing. I'm waiting for mine.
Yeah, and if at any point you can't contact her, she's probably playing Animal Crossing.
I'm probably playing Animal Crossing, but I will, for sure, if anyone wants to reach me, I will take the time off of my Switch and talk with you.
Alright, so our first topic is, social media dating world.
Yeah, that's basically what we're going to talk about because, we're all quarantined and everything going on at the moment. A lot of times you can't see your significant other, or they're far away and, long distance, and also trying to, sitting at home, bored, nothing to do. What do you want to do? Just, swiping on Tinder, swiping on just any social media, trying to, get that lovely lady or man or anyone.
Whatever bloats your goat.
Yeah.
We don't judge here on the Social Otaku. Well, I do, but I keep it to myself.
Yeah, so basically, like, there's a lot of dating apps out there. A lot of people don't know, and we should probably mention that you and I met on online dating.
We did.
So we did, and Josh and I have been together for
3.5 months?
3.5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, it's he's been quarantined in my apartment for about a week now.
Yeah.
We haven't killed each other yet. So
Not yet, but here's hoping.
Yep. Yeah, like basically our first topic would be just the dating apps. Like, which one do you want to jump into?
Do we want to start in
We can talk about what online date, which app that we met on was OkCupid.
Yeah, I was wondering if we want to do that first or last.
Yeah, we can do that first.
All right.
Yeah, so that's where Josh and I met. We met on OkCupid. If any of you don't know what OkCupid is, you probably do, but we'll kind of go over it. It's an online dating app, and it's kind of like Tinder, how I would describe it, but with a twist. With OkCupid, there is what they have a compatibility assessment test. There's over, I would say, would you say 100 plus questions?
Oh,
depending on the compatibility.
Yeah, so there, from what I've seen, there's easily more than 300 or 400 questions.
Yeah, and I know for a fact. So Josh and I are actually on the apps right now. We kind of made like a little fake profile.
We're catfishing. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So basically, when we signed up, it gave us the start of first and last name, what our gender is, what gender we're looking for at the moment. If you are of the LGBT plus community and or are non-binary, with OkCupid, it only gives you the option to either search for either one of the genders, male or female. But it looks like that OkCupid is going to be changing that soon, so they tell people to kind of look out for that, I guess. So anyways, with this app, it gives you about 15 questions to start out when you sign up, and then it takes you to what looks like we're on the front page here. So right now we have a dating profile, shows her summary, it shows a compatibility percentage on the right hand corner of the profile. So it looks like I answered the 15 questions and I got a female with a 90% compatibility. And mind you, I did the question assessment blindly. So I don't know what I chose. I just kind of clicked. But for me, when I had OkCupid, I took the compatibility test very seriously because at the time, I was actually looking for someone. I wanted to get into dating again. And then I found Josh. Actually, Josh found me.
Yes.
So, and what's funny is that I was actually in a bad, I'd say around December when we started dating, I was in a bad place mentally. And I just kind of wanted to get rid of social media altogether. Just kind of a week vacation from it all. Because I was surrounding myself way too much with it. So when I was on OkCupid, I went ahead and I was about to delete my account or temporary disable it. That's what I should say. To take my break. And then I got a message from Josh.
Yeah.
And we had, at that point, our compatibility, all the questions that we answered or did,
Mm-hmm.
it was a 97. I remember it's a 97%. And I remember him reaching out, messaging me about my profile. He took the time to look at it and what I liked, which I will go into that next here. So, a lot of times on these profiles, there is a self summary and what they like, dislike. There's also questions. Let's see if I can get to some things. There's not a lot. Yeah, so there's questions like, what am I doing in my life? What I'm really good at? What's my weirdest quirk? Favorite books, movies, shows, and food. A lot of just, it goes beyond and more in depth on the About Me section. And I think that's what I liked about OkCupid. Do you remember what you liked about it?
I did like the fact that you could see when you do the little questionnaire, you can always add on to it later. They have a little section where you can answer more questions. And I did like that you could see what you agreed on, what you disagreed on, and what questions they had answered, but you haven't. Um, and so you can see when it's like, 90%, 89%, 97%, you can see not only that you were that compatible, but which questions were you most compatible with? Because I know that I, through experience with that app, um, I know that I found little red flags on profiles after a while. Like, okay, so I'm not going to be able to get along with this person. For these reasons, because those questions were kind of important to me. Not necessarily important to me per se, but like I could tell they were going to put a damper on any potential relationship. Also, hi Bagels. Glad you could join us.
Oh, hello, bagels.
And by the way, through this whole thing, hopefully we won't be dropped off, but the internet's been kind of wonky recently, and also you can ask either of us any question you want throughout the entirety of what will hopefully be a very long podcast.
Yeah, this is going to be probably a long podcast. Really stretching it out here. So basically, on when you were going through the whole dating app, you were looking at both the detailed questions and the percentage.
Yeah, and reading the profile, because I noticed, at least in yeah, Bagels, I know there's an echo. There's just no way around that. Um, the echo would be worse, but I managed to fix it this much, so there. um, but yeah, I noticed, at least in this area, there are just a lot of people who in many ways would be compatible with me, but in one or two different areas, it would just make the entire thing fall apart.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing a lot more reading, a lot more digesting of profiles than, honestly, than I think a lot of the people I was talking to on there did, except for the crazy people.
Yeah, there were some. I would not say strange. I was like unique individuals that I would bump into on there, and I'm gonna kind of come out and say that OkCupid, I've met more than just relationship. I've also made friends. For an example, I have a friend who a lot of you don't know. I'm new from Texas. I'm new to Texas, what I should say. I live in the suburb in Austin, but I'm originally from Oregon. And a lot of people think maybe Portland. I'm actually from a small town in Oregon, about 50,000 people. I think it's a small town compared to now living in Austin. This is different for me, I guess. Busier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little busier for me. But I met someone off OkCupid last year. or a year before actually, say in 2018, close to end of 2018, I met a guy who we actually went on a date and just didn't work out, so we stayed friends and then pretty much became the best of friends. He's like actually one of my best friends. We get along, we bicker like brother and sister. It's actually funny how things happen. Like it's not just, these dating apps are not just for, dating and
Yeah.
hookup culture. It's more, you can make friends out of it as well.
Yeah. Speaking of, that's actually a really good jumping off point for Bumble.
Oh,
Uh, so I heard about Bumble from one of the girls I was talking to on OkCupid. I guess like a year and a half ago, maybe. Um, and what I like about it is you can do one of three different things on it. You can do it for dating, you can do it to meet friends, or you can do it for business. And I actually have my Bumble set to Bumble Biz, although I'm quite honestly not getting a lot of good suggestions on here, if I'm gonna be frank.
yeah, and I've noticed that it's not just for business. It's, a lot of times people are actually putting, it's really like resume too. You're
Mm,
putting your picture. I've seen one time on there that a girl had a bachelor's in environmental science and she was looking for a job in that category. And she basically lists her whole resume on her Bumble Biz, which I thought that was really neat.
yeah.
I don't know if, if there's anyone out there that uses Bumble Biz and has success about it, like send us a message, or if you know anyone that's done that, like reach out.
Yeah, that'd
Because
be really interesting to hear.
for me, I'm curious.
Yeah, so one other thing about Bumble is the format is a lot different, and it does have the feature where if you swipe right on someone, it's up to you to make the first move. Otherwise, they will it just will essentially drop the match. Oh, Bagel, since you're coming in this a little late, the other voice is Sierra, my girlfriend.
Hello. We probably should have said that at first.
Yeah, we did say it, but when we had zero viewers, so
Yeah.
yeah, Bagel. This is what she sounds like, and she'll probably be on for some of the other Social Otaku podcasts in the future.
Yeah, I'll be on here a lot since I'm laid off from my. Actually, I'm laid off from my job, so I'm going to be quarantined in my jail cell of an apartment room that echoes.
The lovely Echo.
And the nice yeet. There's a nice yeet.
But yeah, so I do like the format of Bumble. I just had like so far for me, I have like zero success with getting anything useful out of it.
Now, did you use Bumble relationship before, or was
Briefly, yeah, and it like yeah, it was about the same. It was like
so?
zero
Actually,
success with anything.
let's talk about that because you're a charisma coach.
Hmm.
Since you had to make the first move on Bumble, what would you look for, and how would you send the message?
Well, so I do it pretty much the same way I do on OkCupid, which is why I like these apps that actually make you put in details about yourself. I would look and see things that I like. I would look and see things that they seem really passionate about, and then I would kind of try to put one or two of those things into the message, which is literally what I did with you. I
Do you want to give them kind of a brief description on what my profile had at that point. And honestly, it's such a blur on what I had on my profile.
Yeah. Feels
Actually,
like so long ago now.
I think I have it in a notepad on
Oh,
my
really?
yeah, I believe I do. I do. Here we go. Oh, this is embarrassing. Okay. So I put I like dad jokes, and the genre of emo music is what I'm all about. I put my height, which is I'm 5'3", and I put in like parentheses, aka the armrest height. And then I just put I'm thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, because I don't know, I'm embarrassed to even like read my bio here. And then I put you can shut me up for the low price of tacos. And then I just put let's go see a show, concert, enjoy new experiences, or just enjoy lazy days with copious amounts of alcohol. Yeah. I was just in that time I was really trying to put myself out there in both good and bad ways. Just because of my mental headspace. And I remember I had a profile picture. Yes, Bagels, small. It's me. So I had a profile picture, and it was the one that actually stood out for Josh to swipe yes for me. Was I had some jeans on, but I had a Millennium Falcon shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember I can't remember what you said,
I'm trying to remember too.
but it had to do with emo, My Chemical Romance, and the Death Star, and all, and then you had some Star Trek in there too, and I went, he, in that moment when I saw that I was reading his profile, and I saw that, oh, we kind of have a lot of things in common. That's really cool. But the fact that out of all the times I've been on the dating site, I've gotten a couple messages like, hey, what's up? Or, oh, you're thick? Hello. Like, kind of, just messages that were really short and sweet, which that comes to the topic here in a few minutes about body language through text and just texting in general. And then making the first move kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I noticed that Josh actually read my profile, made like a whole scenario with my interests and hobbies and my picture, I was like, I have to message this guy. And here's how it comes with Josh and I actually dating now. A lot of people will be surprised that we only talked for 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah, 48 hours. And we started dating.
Yep.
It took 2 days. And that's a record for me, I think.
I would say for me as well.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked all day up until 5 in the morning. No, actually 6 or 7 in the morning, because I didn't sleep that whole night.
And then you went to work, and I crashed and fell asleep.
Yeah, and I went to work, and that was rough, but it was worth it because I came home.
And Bagel says he is surprisingly not surprised.
Yeah, it was nice.
I just while we're talking, I'm trying to see if there's any way I can get the chat on. Nope. Okay. Well, never mind. I was hoping I could get the chat up on screen from Restream, but we only get the feed here.
After seeing 90 Day Fiancé, I literally can't believe anything. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
that show's intense sometimes. Speaking of like dating shows, we were watching on Netflix Love is Blind.
That was interesting because of my experience in the film industry, and particularly on the unnamed reality show I briefly worked on back in 2014. I had some insight on how that stuff worked, and between that and since I now do charisma coaching, it was kind of fun for me to watch. But it was really funny because some of it was
we were actually
scripted.
Yeah, we were actually watching it, and I was like, observe them, tell me what's going on. It was great. So if you haven't seen Love is Blind, there's already memes about it now. So when you see that, I would just give it a shot. Everyone's in the house. Watching it. What are you gonna binge? Binge Love Is Blind. You won't regret it. Honestly, it's
kind of an interesting study to see if you can tell what is genuine and what is scripted, or what is genuine and what is someone being fake, but they weren't told to script it. Because those are the three different things that you will see: genuine, fake, and scripted.
yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
pretty
and
interesting.
if people don't know what Love Is Blind is, so basically it's a reality TV show where I think 10 females, 10 males.
Yeah.
They live separate in one big house, but they go into, it looks like confession rooms in a way, just like little confession lounge rooms where there is a wall between them. They can't see each other throughout the whole entire experiment. And what happens is that basically they get to know each other, fall in love, and they propose to one another. And when they propose to each other, that's when they finally meet, and then everything happens. It's like, I think in 60 days they get married, basically.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride, honestly.
And of course, they call it a quote. And I'm using very heavy quotation marks with this because we also watched another show recently that just deflated all hope I had in humanity. In quotations, it's an experiment. Although, interestingly enough, it is more of an experiment than 100 Humans. That show makes me livid.
Yeah.
Makes me very angry, and I want to watch more of it, but I don't want to watch it. So I want to make videos on it, like that. Like that's how much it angers me. Like people need to know.
Yeah.
So I might just sit down and watch some of it.
There was one like wiping, going in the bathroom. How do you wipe or?
Oh no, it's no. They're trying to see if there's a quote proper way to put in toilet paper.
Okay, all right.
Putting the toilet paper roll on.
Now that show.
Yeah. If you want a brief description of that show, it's studies that have already been done, but this time really poorly by people who are not scientists, who then have guest scientists come on to tell them what they should already know, but they don't want to listen to them, and they just make fun of them.
Basically.
That's the entire show.
We're studying that could be our next thing, our next podcast, studying reality TV.
Yeah.
That's really good. It just kind of like popped in my head.
Yeah.
It's like, but anyways, back to the dating world. Body language through text. Kind of example would say, Tinder, especially. To me, and everyone could be different, because I know there are some people out there have met their significant other online through Tinder and some of the other apps. But to me, in my experience on using Tinder, I would categorize it as hookup culture. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say Tinder's definitely more hookup culture than anything, and I have body language. A fat lol. Thank you, bagels. That's beautiful.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, with Tinder, unlike Bumble or OkCupid, you don't really have much of a profile to go on. You have like a little blurb at the bottom, and that's about it.
With Tinder, you have I think it's like 160 characters or less now. I think.
I was on there for a day, and I was like, no, fuck this.
I was on there for maybe about a week, and then I just wanted to throw my phone. Let's see. We got an example here. Oh, so we don't. We do have. Tinder has changed within the last couple months since I've been on it. Yeah. This is weird. Okay. Oh, okay. So, like, this is why I see it, and I'm going to show Josh right now.
Okay.
This is why I see that Tinder's a hookup culture. So, for example, I see a picture of a female right now, and her quote is, I can drive a manual, so you know that I'm good at working a stick. And we all know that in that description, there's one thing that she's wanting, and it's hookup.
Yeah. And just to see what Bagel said in comments, I don't see Tinder as a dating app at this point. I see it more as cringy comedy. So, fun story, when I get back home and I finish this up, Sierra and I have put together a fun little, basically the next episode of The Distressed Narrator, where we just go through a bunch of really cringy dating app read-throughs. So cringy profiles, cringy messages.
And I found the most cringiest ones too.
Oh.
They were, and there's some that are really funny.
Yeah.
There was one to me I didn't consider cringy. I like if it was me talking with that person, I would want to go on a date with them and know them more. Just how it went about, and I can even look it up as well. And a lot of times there's, Snapchat me or, like, okay, for instance, this girl, she's from Brazil. She lives in Austin, but one of her hometown has her heart. She loves to bake and cook. And then if you give her chocolate and beer, she'll love you forever. There you go. Problem solved.
There you go. That's the secret, guys, to any kind of dating: chocolate and beer. All right, there we go. All right, podcast over, I guess.
There you go. No, and on Tinder, so we have the little basic bio. You have what is called an anthem. So you connect your Tinder to Spotify on kind of what your top artists, and you can kind of show a little bit of glimpse of what music you're into. It shows your top Spotify artists. So she's got a couple. And then you can also link your Instagram so people can see more pictures of you and kind of how you're like. Then you can go, swipe left or swipe right. And then there's also super like, which is, I've never understood super like.
I don't know.
But I do have to say there are some people on here that they are looking for love, and more power to them and their strengths of trying to find it on Tinder. But for me, I didn't find it on Tinder. For example, a couple months before you and I dated, I went on a date with someone who was looking at wanting to look in a relationship. We were getting along, everything was going well. And here comes my next topic, where went out on a date. It was great. I didn't think anything went wrong. The next day, nothing. Nothing happened. It was just like, okay, no. I'm not the person that texts first. I just kind of wait for them, and I text them back the next day and say, hey, it was nice having, going out to the movies. That was a great time. We should do it another time when our schedules match. Nothing. For me, that's ghosting. And there are a lot of people that do ghost.
Yeah.
Some people think it's okay. For me, I don't think it's right at all. I think that you should, even if you're not interested with the person or you think it didn't really work out, you should have the confidence to tell them, say, hey, yeah, it was really nice going out to the movies with you, but I didn't see any kind of spark, or I don't know if I want to pursue anything more.
Yeah.
And for me, if someone told me the truth, I'd be like, thank you, because I don't want my time wasted.
Right. Because otherwise you're just sitting there going, are they busy? What's going on? Did I do something wrong? Because you just don't know at that point, which that's, I think, the stupidest thing about ghosting. Like it just wastes everybody's time.
Yeah, and when I did Tinder when I lived in my hometown, that was that was just a hot mess. Where I went, for example, people in high school, people I went to high school with,
Hmm.
men that I went to high school with, who bullied me from middle school all the way up into high school, then telling me that, oh, I had the biggest crush on you, and I go, strange, because you used to call me this name, and it stuck with me mentally for years. And a lot of people don't know, and I'll even come out and say this now too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was bullied in school since I was a little kid. Middle school and high school was the worst. When it came to boys making fun of me, it was a lot about my weight because I am
Hmm.
I'm heavy set, but at the time I was not, and I kept gaining weight, and then I suffered eating disorders and just everything. And so these men are just basically, telling me through Tinder, men who had made fun of me and kind of put that mental sting in my brain that, oh, I had such a big crush on you. And so I kind of mentioned, well, you used to call me these names in high school. Why was that? Their excuse was, I was shy. I was afraid. I didn't want my social status to be ruined.
Yeah. Oh, and Bagels, by the way, the echo is mostly coming from the microphone I'm using because I'm using a Bluetooth headset. She's got a much nicer headset. So every now and again, I'm just going to be muting myself uh, if she's going to be saying more than a couple words. So that way we have less echo.
Woo.
Um, but yeah, long story short, don't be a dick.
Yeah, long story short, just tell the truth and just kind of come out and say, well, if you feel that it's not going well or you're not feeling it personally, have that confidence to tell them that, hey, it's just not going to work out, because your time is valuable and their time is as well, because they can be going off doing their own thing and you can go off and do your own thing and go back on Tinder and find someone else.
Yeah, or just my personal opinion. It's just not for people who want serious relationships because it's you brought up something a really good point last night. Uh, Dating online is basically speed dating.
Yeah, the swiping, the left, the right, the super like, that's all in the way. It's like speed dating.
Yeah, that whole thing is it's just an online version of speed dating, but with real speed dating, you get to hear their voice, you get